Hello everyone, you are welcome to my channel. I'm Gift God's Time by name. If you're stopping by for the first time, on today's tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to achieve this beautiful wrap dress and also how to achieve the hem part of the sleeve. So if you're new to this channel, please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up as you watch and also subscribe to this channel. And to all my returning subscribers, I want to thank you so dearly for your support. I'll be using 2 yards of this fabric. It's called vintage fabric here in Nigeria. And then I'll be using 1.5 yards of this lycra lining. Right here, I've gone ahead to draft my pattern. So I've indicated my shoulder and my armhole region. Next, I drew the horizontal line, that is my bust line, under bust and waistline. This is for the front pattern. Now from that waistline, I'm going to draw 9 inches downward. This will serve for my hip. Now from the shoulder, I'm going to measure to the length I want it to be. I'm using the whole of this pattern, which is 40 inches in length. I want the dress to be very short because I intend wearing pantyhose. So next, I'm going to indicate my bust span, which is 4 inches. So after dividing by 2. So I'm going to, from the hip part, I'm going to go upwards by 4 inches. Then also impute my bust span measurement, which is 4 inches. That is 8 divided by 2. That's what's giving me 4. Next, I'll be imputing my dart intake. I'm using 1.5 inches. That is 3/4 of an inch on both sides. Next, I'm going to extend the dart legs respectively. Now I'll be imputing my measurements on this pattern. So firstly, I'm going to take my bust measurement, divide by 4. The value, I'm going to impute it there. Next, I'm going to take my waist measurement, divide by 4. Then after that, I'm going to put the 1.5 inches dart intake we added. Next, I'm going to take my hip measurement, divide by 4, which I have 10 inches. The hip is 40, divide by 4, that is 10. So for this down part, I'm going to add extra 1 inch. So I'm going to make it 11 inches. So I'm going to now connect all the lines. Next, I'll be imputing my bust dart. So the difference between my front and back pattern is 2 inches. So from the bust, I'm going to go downward by 2 inches and connect the line, as you can see from the video. So next, I'm going to be cutting this pattern out, and this is it. This is how it looks like. Now, because of the nature of this dress, it's a wrap dress, so we have one part overlaying the other. I'm going to be adding extra 6 inches. So I've gone ahead to cut out another pattern, which is measuring 6 inches in width, and it's the same length of the front pattern I cut out. So I'm going to be merging these two together. I'm going to be using my tape to measure them, to merge them together. I'm done sealing it up. So next, what I'll be doing, I'll be extending my waist line to that 6 inches extra. So now from that waistline, I'm going to come up by 2 inches. This part, this 2 inches, is where I'll be adding my band. There is a band or rope at the sides of this wrap dress. Now from that neckline upwards, which already imputes, that is the 3 inches in width. Now I'm going to be taking 7 inches. That is how deep I want the neckline to be. I don't want to reveal my cleavage. I want it sealed up. So you can go as well to extend more than that if you want your cleavage to be visible. So from that neckline, I'm going to extend a straight through to that 2 inches above the waistline. So I'm going to connect it like so. Now you may be asking me, what was the essence of that 7 inches marked I did? Is a guide so that you don't extend more than that. I don't want the revealing part to be so obvious. So now this is our front pattern, and I'm going to be cutting 2 of it. Before cutting on my main fabric, I'll be sealing up the dart legs. So I don't want any stitch to appear on the main fabric. I don't want those darts indication to appear. So I'll be sealing it up my pattern, and I'll use this pattern to cut my main fabric. Next, I'm going to be adding extra 2 inches at the side seam, 1 inch for my sewing and the other inch for ease. I want it to be a little bit loose. Next, I'll cut the back pattern. So I've also gone ahead to do the same thing I did for the front. I've indicated my neckline, which is 3 inches in width, 1 inch in depth. I've also drew my armhole, then indicated my bust point, waist point, and hip point. Now there is no under bust for the back pattern. Now from that hip point, to get your length, the length you used, you are going to take your front pattern and measure. From that hip point, you're going to measure till the down part. Whatever figure you get, you're going to impute it in. Now I got 14 inches. So from my hip point, I'm going to go downwards by 14 inches. You have to take your front pattern to measure so that at the end you have equal for both the front and the back. Next, I'm taking my bust span measurement, which is 4 inches. Then also I went upwards from the hip line 4 inches, and then I connected the lines. I'm using 1.5 inches for my darts intake, and then I'll connect the darts legs as well. Now I'm imputing my bust measurement divided by 4, my waist measurement divided by 4, and I'm imputing the 1.5 inch dart intake. Next, for the hip, I'm taking my hip measurement divided by 4, and then this down part, my hip measurement, I divide by 4, which is 10, then I added 1 inch. So I've connected the lines together. Next, I will cut it out. So right now I'm going to be taking my front pattern. This is my back pattern, and I've brought my front pattern. So I'm going to be placing it side by side for you to see that the length tallies, the two sides align together. So you have to do what I asked you to do by measuring your from the front part, from the hip to the desired length. Whatever figure you get, you also impute it at the back pattern as well, because you know for the front part we took our bust intake, so you have to do this method so that it aligns properly. Next, what I'll be doing, this is my back part. I'm going to be sealing up the dart intake, and I'll proceed to cut it on my fabric. So this is the back part of the dress, and I've gone ahead to cut it out. So I added extra 2 inches for seam allowance. So this is the back part. It is on fold. So I'm going to take out the pattern and open it up for you to see how it is. So this is how it is when it's open up. This is the back part. Now I have 2 of this front piece. So by the time you overlay each other, this is how it's going to turn out to be like. So now for this one that is at the top, I want it curved. I don't want it straight. You can make yours straight as well. It will still look beautiful. But I want to give it a curved shape. So now what I'll be doing, from that 6 inches extra I gave, I'm going to mark it, and then I'm going to start my curve all the way till I get to that point, that sharp edge point. Now I will go down by 2 inches. As you can see, that part I'll be adding my band at the side. So when I get to that 2 inches, as you can see, I stopped my curve. So I also did the same thing for the lining part. Now for the lining, I made it 1.5 inches shorter. When I'm turning the main fabric, I want it, the finishing, I don't want the lining to be visible. So that is why for each of the lining, this is for the back, I also made it 1.5 inch shorter. Now I'll be showing you how to cut the band. Now for the band, I have 2 pieces. The shorter one is 26 inches, while the longer one is 45 inches. Now for the width is 5 inches. So by the time I fold it into 2, it's going to give me 2.5 inches, and I'm going to use 1/2 inch to sew. I'm going to seal up one end and then sew with the 1/2 inch. The other end will be open. That open part is where I'm going to get the right parts outside. So that is what I'm doing in the video. I'm getting the right parts out. So after doing that, I'm going to straighten it using my iron, and these are the two pieces, both the long one and the short one. Next, I will be showing you how to join the main fabric with the lining. So now this is for the back. So I've gone ahead to place right side facing the right side. So I will be sealing up the neckline first. After that, I'm going to seal up the hem parts. This is for the back of the dress. So after sealing the hem parts, I'll be sealing up the side as well. Now, because the lining is 1 inch shorter, so this is how you are going to achieve it for it to get to these other parts, the top part. So you're going to have this fold. So that is what I initially want to have. That is why I made it 1 inch shorter the lining. So at the end, when you flip the right side over, this is how it's going to look like. So you don't have a situation whereby the lining is coming outside. So the lining will not be visible because it's way up. So this is the back part of the dress. I'm going to do the same thing for the front part as well. So this is the front part. Now I've gone ahead to notch where I'll be putting my band. So I notched the first part is my waist region. Then I went upward by 2 inches because this band, the size is 2 inches. So I've placed my band. Next, I'm going to be placing my lining, that is the right parts facing the right part, although this lining does not have both wrong or bad parts. They are the same thing. So what I'll be doing first, I'll be sealing the hem parts. So I'm going to sew the hem parts all the way through till I get to the part I place my band. I'm going to be sewing till I get to the neckline region upwards. So after sewing that part, now I'll also be sewing the sides as well. The same technique I did for that of the back, that is what I'll be doing for it to get, because it's 1.5 inch shorter, so you have to fold the main fabric like so. So I've gone ahead to do that, the two fronts. Now I'll be placing right side facing right side. I want to join the front piece together with the back piece. So for this other part that has the long rope, I'm going to sew all through. Now for this other part that has the short rope or band, I'm not going to sew all through. From the waist region, I'm going to mark and leave a space in between. I'm going to mark 2 inches because why? That long rope will be going inward. So after that, I'm going to sew down. So I've gone ahead to do it. So this is what I was trying to explain. I left a space to enable me past this other one. It's going to go inside. So you have to leave that space. Now for the side seam, that part that is opening, you can add your gum stay so that it's easy for you to be able to insert that rope inward. Next, I'm going to be joining my shoulder part. So if you are used to my video, you will know how I join the shoulder. So I'm going to place the two together. Then I'm going to use any part of the lining to seal it up. So I'm going to take one part of the lining to cover it. So at the end, I have a good finishing. So this is the outcome of how my shoulder looks like. Now for the sleeve. I already have a detailed tutorial on how to draft a sleeve, so I won't be going in detail. So for the sleeve, yes, there is a front part and the back part. It is different. So now for this hem part that we'll be focusing on, because I want to have that gathered effect. So firstly, I'm going to fold my sleeve pattern into two, which I've done, and to get that crease line, to get the midpoint. So after getting the midpoint, I'm going to draw a straight row. Now this straight point I marked is measuring 6 inches because we are focusing on the hem. It's not getting all the way to the tip part. So initially I marked 1 inch spacing because I'm going to be slashing and spreading. So, but after marking the 1 inch, I remembered that my fabric won't be enough for it. So I marked 2 inches for the spacing. So I did 2 inches for the spacing. I marked them evenly. So on this part, which is the back part which we are marking, I marked 2 inches. Now this other part, which is the front part, I marked 2 inches as well. Then I extended it to the 6 inches in length. I extended all of them. After doing that, I went ahead to slash them open. So I used my scissors to cut them open. I didn't cut it all the way to the end, just to that 6 inches point. So this is what we have. This is the extent I slashed it open. Now I took my fabric, and this was the fabric I had left. It was not even enough to do that slash and spread. So what I did, I just ended up folding my pattern back into two and placed the back part. I didn't place the front part because the front part is much deeper. So I placed the back part, and then what I did, I just extended the line to the remaining fabric I have left. So this is it. I marked from my cap height to all the way to the hem parts to be the same distance. So that is what I'll be working with. So I open it up because I want to cut out the front part of it. You know, the front and the back are different. The front is deeper because when cutting the armhole from basic pattern, we went inward from the armhole by 1/2 inch. So that is what I'm cutting out. So next, what I'll be doing, this is it. This is the my sleeve, complete sleeve for the two parts. So now this hem part, I'm going to seal it up with an interlock weaving. So this is it. This is how it looks like. Next, what I'll be doing, I'll be using my elastic. So I measured my all round wrist, so I have 8 inches, so I'll be making it 9 inches, the elastic, because I'll be sewing with 1/2 inch on both sides. That's 1 inch. So next, what I'll be doing, how I'll be placing my elastic, I'll go upwards by 1 inch. So from that 1 inch, I'm going to sew the elastic. I'll be stretching the elastic while sewing, so till I get to the end. So after sewing, this is how it looks like inside, and this is how it looks like on the outside part of it. Next, what I'll be doing, I'll be joining my sleeve together, that is the sides together, with the allowance I give initially. So after doing that, this is how it looks like. So what I'll be doing, I'll be attaching this sleeve to the dress, which is already done halfway without sleeve. So I've gone ahead to attach the sleeve to the dress, and this is how it is. This is the final look of this dress. Please, if you've watched to this extent, do not forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're yet to. Bye.